Hello world, Cossy here to talk to you a little bit about video games. Now, for me, I've been gaming most of my life, back since, the days of the ZX Spectrum, Atari 2600, and those mystical, wonderful places known as arcades. And I loved arcades, I loved spending time there, I loved playing the games in them. And recently, I've been playing Double Dragon Neon on the PlayStation 3, also available on Xbox 360. It's a downloadable game, it's fantastic. It's made me realise just how much I used to love arcade side-scrolling beat-em-ups. With that in mind, here's my top 5 arcade side-scrolling beat-em-ups. Number 5, the XMen arcade game. Absolutely fantastic game. Now, it was tough which of the arcade Marvel games to pick, this or the Avengers beat 'em up, not the actual fighting game, but the side-scrolling beat 'em up. And I went for X-Men just because probably I played it a lot more. It came out when I was around 10 years old in 1992, and I just remember playing on what at that time was a fantastic 6-player dual screen cabinet in the arcades, something that I'd never seen up until that time. And just, me and some of my friends or some of the people I'd met on holiday being in arcades and just blasting hours away on this fantastic game. You could play as 6 of the X-Men, and hey, it had Dazzler. I mean, most people don't even know who Dazzler is these days. Dazzler was in this, you could play as Dazzler. Right at the very end, you had to fight Magneto, of course, who'd kidnapped Professor Xavier and Kitty Pryde. It was a great game. It has been ported now onto both PlayStation and Xbox and is available to download, and it's worth checking out if you love this type of game. Number 4 on the list, for me, the side-scrolling beat-em-up that started my love of this genre, and the first game I ever completed in the arcades on a single 20p credit, Double Dragon. Now, Double Dragon, released in 1987, was an absolutely fantastic arcade game. I know it's been ported to many systems first, most famously the NES. I remember actually playing the NES version after I'd completed the version in the arcade. Basically, you're playing as one of 2 brothers, Billy or Jimmy, who's fighting through this district to try and rescue their girlfriends. And brilliant, amazing game. You fight people, they drop weapons, you pick them up, you can attack them with weapons. One of the first times, maybe even the first time I ever remember doing that in a video game. Varied level environments. The first time you fight a Bobo is really strange, and he's quite tough until you work out how to beat him. Fantastic game, well worth a look into, and it's a classic. Number 3, and this might for some people be slightly controversial because a lot of people think this is the best of this genre in the arcade, The Simpsons, the arcade game. Now, this was an absolutely fantastic game, and you went to lots of very different environments throughout the 8 stages. The streets of Springfield, Krusty Land theme park, the nuclear power plant, just to name 3. And as one of the 4 main characters, Lisa, Marge, Bart or Homer, you fought through with hoovers and handbags and all sorts of weird and wacky crazy things to try and rescue Maggie from that dastardly Mr. Burns and Smithers. It was brilliant. It really captured the energy and the buzz and the humour of the TV series. It's the longest running animated series of all time, for those of you who don't know. It captured all that perfectly, and it was so much fun. You grabbed a couple of people, you got on that cabinet, and you beat people with a skateboard or a handbag or a hoover or whatever, all through those 8 levels, and you rescued Maggie. Number 3, The Simpsons. Number 2, a game that was originally developed to be the sequel to 1989's Street Fighter, but then became Final Fight. Final Fight, fantastic Capcom side-scrolling arcade beat-em-up. Brilliant characters introduced in this game, had fantastic graphics, brilliant settings. You could pick up lots of different weapons. Unlike Double Dragon, where there was only like 1 or 2, there were sort of 5 or 6 different weapons that people dropped, or you could find by breaking stuff. You could also break stuff and find health, which was actually in the form of food, things like whole roast chickens. You ate that and your health replenished. Brilliant. Mike Hagar, one of the greatest characters in video game history was introduced in Final Fight, and a lot of you may know the character from other Capcom games that he's appeared in particular sort of fighting games. He's in some of the later Street Fighter series of games. Brilliant. Also, something you might not know is this was the video game that introduced a transsexual character, a human one. We all know that Birdo was a transsexual in Super Mario Bros. 2, but a transsexual human character called Poison, who was a pink-haired transsexual, and it was made a transsexual simply because it wasn't deemed correct to attack women, and obviously it was a female character. But there you go, Final Fight, fantastic game. Go and have a go, see if you can pick it up, it's brilliant. Number 1, the greatest arcade side-scroll and beat-em-up of all time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. This game is just perfection for the genre. This game to the arcade version of the genre is what Streets of Rage was to the home console version. It is brilliant. You get to play as one of the 4 Ninja Turtles, and you get to fight your way through a whole host of environments, both from the animated series and from the second movie. Best played, in my opinion, with some friends. And you know, you're fighting Bebop and Rocksteady and characters from the movie, and you're finally going up against Shredder, and you're going to all different places and all different times, all different locations. If I ever see this arcade cabinet at a reasonable price, I'm going to buy it and put it in my house. That's how fantastic it is. And when I do, I'm going to throw a party where I just invite my 3 best friends around to play it. You guys know who you are. If you've never played it, they did a HD remake of this game, which was released a few years ago on both Xbox Live and on the PlayStation Network. You can still get your hands on it, you can still play it. Teenage Mutant Turtles, Turtles in Time, it's number 1. Okay guys, as always, thanks for watching. Down there's the like button, you click on that, let me know that you liked this. Up there is a link to my last top 5, and also a link to some geek movie news from last week, that of the new XMen movie. Comment box for comments, leave them if you want. Down there in that drop down there's also a link to my Facebook, my Twitter and my Tumblr. Subscribe to all those, subscribe to this channel, favourite this video, pass it on to all of your friends, and until next time, au revoir.